Due to a change on the back end, you now only have 1 week left to complete No Man's Sky's Breach Expedition. But don't worry, I've got you covered with a super efficient step-by-step guide that will have you done in as little as 90 minutes. It's worth noting this guide takes into account what milestones you need to claim and those you don't to help keep your inventory under control. So for best results, stick to the steps. First things first, upon initializing, open up your exosuit and move your jetpack to one supercharged slot and then your hazard protection to the other one. Next, open up your multi-tool and if you have a supercharged slot in there, put your mining beam in that. Also open the pause menu and click network, then turn multiplayer off for the smoothest experience. So the first actual task is just getting to your ship. On the way to your ship, you'll want to pick up these items on screen now. The carbon here includes 80 carbon for a mining beam fueling as well as 80 carbon for a personal refiner fueling later. The rest you'll of course need for crafting. The oxygen includes 120 as spare life support fuel later. And of course a good tip for the oxygen is to use those gaseous plants and just get the 3 pods around them. You can then also destroy the plant and get about 80 or more oxygen from each one. Arriving at your ship will complete Crew Awaken. Claim the reward from this milestone. Now install the prepackaged personal refiner unit. Now refine 50 of the ferrite dust into pure ferrite, 60 of the carbon into condensed carbon, and the 100 quartzite you got into chromatic metal. After that, craft 1 metal plating, a hermetic seal, a carbon nanotube, 2 dihydrogen jelly, and creature pellets. Next, get in range of your ship and fix the launch thrusters, but make sure to use the repair kit to fix the dihydrogen jelly part, and also fix the pulse engine. Now you can get in and lift off into space. This will complete Wings in the Dark. Also claim the rewards from that. After entering space, we go straight to the station. Once inside, go up the left side. Up there you'll find 3 yellow containers on the floor. Loot all of them. Also go to the exosuit terminal and take a slot. The first one's free. Now go over to the other side of the station to Galactic Trade Terminal. Sell the banned weapons you just looted from one of those yellow containers. This will give you the funds to now buy 5 microprocessors and 75 rusted metal. Put the rusted metal straight into your refiner and then get back to your ship and install the hyperdrive. Fuel the hyperdrive with the warp hypercore you also looted from those containers. Right, it's time to do our first warp. You'll almost certainly be directed to a system called Goyabe-Gojos 4. Even if you aren't, it's not that big of a deal. Just go to the one it recommends to you. It'll be close by because you haven't got very much range on your hyperdrive yet. Upon entering the new system, shoot asteroids until you have a total of 162 silver and 212 gold. You also want tritium, but you'll definitely get enough getting this much silver and gold. You'll also absolutely complete Starspawn by getting that much resources from asteroids. Claim the rewards from between the stars that completed when you warped. Install the prepackaged Atlantic drive into your ship. Now focus the Friends in Odd Places milestone from Phase 3 and warp to the system it points you to on the galactic map. You will almost certainly be pointed towards Zugawar-Mieh, a purple Gex system with 3 planets. In Zugawar-Mieh, or just the system it points you to, fly down to the closest planet Gusuk 79/Z9. Again, if you are not in Zugawar-Mieh, then just scan the planet, you'll have to find out which one has the floating fauna you need. On Gusuk, land and look around for a floating fauna that has a sort of blue pyramid frame with orange bubbles inside. You need to adopt this fauna. That will complete Friends in Odd Places. You can now claim the rewards from Friends in Odd Places. You can also delete the creature pellets remaining in your inventory, as well as any extra dihydrogen, but not the jelly, keep that. Head up into space and summon and enter the anomaly. This is a good time if you put any items in the terminal to grab them. It's also a good time if you have the Atlas Scepter, because that's a really good weapon for doing derelicts, and we're about to do one. The neutron cannon on it can take care of the grubs pretty much instantly. Use the teleporter in the anomaly once you've done whatever you wanted to there to go to the starting system, which is Tarumetri. Once back in Tarumetri, exit the station into space, use the emergency signal scanner in your inventory and enter Pulse. We teleported because the previous system has an extreme cold derelict and will sap your hazard protection extremely quickly. The starting system and Goyabe definitely don't. Once you are alerted, exit Pulse and land on the derelict. You now just need to do the derelict in full. Make sure before you go into the derelict that you loot the emergency supply crate next to the door, as well as, if you can, the one on the actual menu. The crate has the ferrite dust, condensed carbon and sodium that we'll want for later. And by in full, it just means the 3 terminals. So you'll have to go in, check the data pads until you get credentials, do all 3 terminals. The second one will require the credentials, so you'll want it before then. And the third one, you'll need to get nanites or fabricate something. You need to get the captain's log, crew manifest, and the nanites, or something else from the third one. As long as you've got the 3 rewards from the terminals, you've completed it in full. For these runs, I tend to ignore the loot and just run through. I also ignore the grubs, so I just literally just run past them, alerting them and getting hit a few times. But you've also got an S-Class defensive upgrade in your inventory. Feel free to use that. Upon gaining the reward from the final terminal, you will complete Dereliction. Claim the rewards from this milestone. Now get back to your ship and install the S-Class hyperdrive upgrade. You can now lift off from the derelict and warp directly to Rendezvous 1. Upon entering the Rendezvous 1 system, pulse directly to the timestamp 1 marker. If the marker isn't showing, then just focus the milestone timestamp 1 in the expedition menu. On approach, within the atmosphere of the planet, use your ship scan while pointing at the marker to get a waypoint to the abandoned building. All but timestamp 2 are abandoned buildings, so you can do this trick to find it really easily. They're also all right by the marker. Land at the building and approach the entrance. This will complete timestamp 1. Claim the rewards from this milestone. Now head back into space and warp to Rendezvous 2, the Konamis system. Upon entering the Rendezvous 2 system Konamis, go straight to the station. Inside the station, head up to the left side again and loot the 3 yellow containers. You can also grab a cargo slot for only 5,000 units. Super cheap. Now head over to the right side where the Galactic Trade Terminal is. Sell the 5 fusion cores you just picked up from the yellow containers. This should give you about 250,000. Then buy 5 microprocessors and 160 carbon. Now find the list on screen now. The 40 sodium you got from the derelict, the carbon you just bought, the ferrite dust is a mixture of derelict as well as the rusted metal from before. Then also craft 1 metal plating, 4 hermetic seal, 1 solar mirror, 1 antimatter, a quantum computer and a debris range finder. This will complete debris field. Now package the S-Class hyperdrive upgrade and Atlantid drive from your ship and move those into your exosuit. Then also move any other resources you have in your ship to your exosuit. Now claim the rewards from Starspawn and Debris Field. Head over to the Corvette landing pad on the runway. The game should point you toward this. And then build a Corvette. You were just rewarded all the parts for this. This will complete Doors to the Stars. Claim the rewards from Doors to the Stars. Build the refiner unit in the Corvette that you were just rewarded. Now exit the station and pulse the Rendezvous 2 marker. Remember, if the marker isn't there, just focus a timestamp 2 milestone in the expedition menu. So getting to the correct marker location of this is a little tricky. This is because the marker itself is at the bottom of the ocean, which is 1,000 U below the surface. So if you fly in space above the marker, then go directly down to it, you'll be able to get to the surface of the water pretty much directly above the marker. So do that and hover above the water and get out of the pilot seat of your new Corvette. Open the inventory to your Corvette and double check that your Corvette does have an Atlantid drive in it. And you did in fact package and put your other Atlantid drive in your exosuit. If you did and you definitely have both, dismantle the Atlantid drive in your Corvette. Then install the one you packaged from your other ship. Also install the S-Class hyperdrive upgrade that you packaged. Now open the refiner in your ship, put 12 of the indium you just got, 12 gold and 12 silver into the refiner to create chromatic metal. This should be enough to do 360 chromatic metal. You do not want to do more than this, only put 12 of each in there. You'll need the rest of the gold for later, and you only need 350 chromatic metal. While that's refining, we're going to do the tasks on this planet, because it will take a little while. Jump out of the back of your Corvette into the water to complete timestamp 2. Now build the Nautilum platform. You might need to back away from your ship a little to build this. This will complete operating depth. Claim the rewards from timestamp 2 and operating depth. Now install one of the underwater oxygen upgrades, as well as an A-class frost protection upgrade, and the pressure membrane. Now get into your Nautilus, ensuring the last hydrothermic fuel cell is in your exosuit or the Nautilus, just in case you run out of fuel. Also that you have your oxygen lyspore gel on you. Even with the pressure membrane, you will lose quite a bit of your life support tanks while you're doing stuff down there, so you want to make sure you have that extra on you. Now head directly down using the booster to get down. You can also install the S-Class Nautilin upgrade in the Nautilin, put that and then the engine into the supercharged slots to get a bit of a boost. Then head directly down as you can. On the way down, keep an eye out for huge underwater fauna. If you see one, jump out and scan it real quick to complete Gentle Giants. Once you're at the bottom, it should complete Descent. If it hasn't, you've gone a little off target. It is definitely 1000 U deep or more at minus 59.85 by plus 126.37. If you flew incorrectly, you should be very close to that. With Gentle Giants and Descent done, the only other one you need to complete down here is Temptation. This requires you to pick up 5 sea glass. Sea glass can be found on the sea floor via these pink beams that shoot upward. If there's no beam, then it's already gone or there isn't one there. If you see a beam, drive over to it and you should be able to pick up a sea glass from the bottom of it. The easiest method is going to be to get out of your Nautilin, quickly turn the analysis visor on to use the target sweep with Temptation focused in the expedition menu to point you towards them, and then just drive to them. I wouldn't advise swimming freely for too long. It will use up your life support really quickly, even with the pressure membrane. With Gentle Giants, Descent and Temptation done, you can now drive the Nautilin back up to your Corvette. Once back inside, take the resources out of your Corvette's refinery unit. This is the 360 chromatic metal. Now craft 4 metal plating, 4 solar mirror, 4 antimatter, 4 quantum computers, and 4 debris range finders. If for some reason you are missing a bit of ferrite dust or condensed carbon, you can pick up rusted metal and carbon from the next station and then refine that into the items you need. Now head into space and warp to Rendezvous 3. Upon entering the Kobaya-Odgo system, aka Rendezvous 3, pulse to timestamp 3 marker. Again, if the marker isn't showing, just focus on milestone timestamp 3 in the expedition menu. On approach within the atmosphere, do the same as before and use your ship scan to get the little blue house icon that shows where the abandoned building is. It should be very close to the marker, just on a little hill. Hover above the building and get out of the pilot's seat, then jump or beam down. Saunter over to the entrance to the abandoned building, which should complete timestamp 3. Claim the rewards from timestamp 3. Now install the S-Class Boltcaster upgrade it rewarded, as well as the Hazmat Gauntlets. If you have a supercharged slot, you're going to want to put your Boltcaster in the supercharged slot. Alternatively, you could use a Scatter Blaster if you installed that for the Derelict. We're about to fight some biological horrors. The best way to do this is to keep moving. So shoot one of the eggs and they will all start emerging from the ground. They have 2 attacks, a spit and a lunge. The spit is a ranged attack, it doesn't do that much damage and just goes in a straight line. The lunge does a lot of damage, but it's also somewhat slow and is very highly telegraphed. They'll pull back and go in a straight line to where you were when they started pulling back. So if you just keep strafing to the left or right around the biological horrors, they will almost never hit you. You can just walk sideways and that's enough to avoid the lunge and spit. So once you have survival down, you just need to shoot them. With day feed complete, you can now click tendrils. For this we need to shoot Titan worm grubs that can be found at Titan worm burrows. If you open your analysis visor, there is one very close to the Rendezvous 3 building. Getting close to it is enough to shoot giant grubs out of the ground, 3 of them in fact, and you need to kill all 3 of those, then find another Titan worm burrow and kill 2 more. Destroying 5 of them will complete tendrils. With that done, you can now enter space and warp to Rendezvous 4. Upon entering Atterius, the Rendezvous 4 system, focus the milestone shipbreaking, then focus the metallic moon, Pezukavi E39, by clicking on it in the discovery menu to add a marker. Activate the debris rangefinder in your inventory and pulse toward the marked moon. Pull out of pulse when it alerts you. This is the first space wreck out of 5 that you'll have to do. We'll be doing 4 of them in this system. Each of these wrecks is pretty simple. You just fly roughly over to it, get out of your pilot seat, exit the Corvette, and spacewalk around the wreck. Use your scanner to show the 3 different things that can be found there. 2 of these look like one of the reactors and can be mined to get some Corvette parts. The other one has the icon that you'll find on Salvage Technology. This notes a log. That is the only thing you actually need to get from this. So if you don't care about the Corvette parts, just get that log to complete the milestone. Once you've got that, head back to your ship and claim the milestones from shipbreaking. Install and dismantle the 2 C-Class upgrades you got from the previous stations. You should have 2 pulse engines. Make sure when you do this there is enough room for 3 items in your Starship inventory, otherwise your wiring looms, which we're doing this for, might not be given to you. Now install the Advanced Mining Laser. Continue pulsing towards the marked moon. Once at the marked moon, which is the metallic moon Pezukavi, just enter the atmosphere, so you just fly down enough to it for it to ping on screen that you've entered the atmosphere. Then you can just get out of your pilot seat and it will give you the skippable screen that it gives you when you land on a new planet. Provided you've got that, you've done enough here. You can also double check under cluster milestone to see that it actually counted as landing on one of the moons. It really should. Once sorted, pop back into space out of the atmosphere, focus the milestone Lost in Time, then focus the corrosive moon Ushin F34, again by clicking it in the Discovery menu to add a marker. Then activate the debris rangefinder in your inventory and pulse towards the marked moon. Pull out of pulse when it alerts again and do the same thing you did with the other space wreck. You just need to get that log. That will complete the Lost in Time. Get back to your ship and continue pulsing to the marked moon. Do the same as you did on the other one, just enter the atmosphere, enough for it to ping and tell you you're in there. Exit your pilot seat so you get the skippable new planet screen. Then get back into your pilot seat and head back up into space, focus the milestone The Fate of the Stars and the cloudy moon Envy. Activate the debris rangefinder and pulse towards a newly marked moon. Once again, when the alert triggers, exit pulse, get the log from the wreck, get back to your ship, and continue on towards Envy. This is where it changes a little. We actually don't want to just get in the atmosphere for Envy, we want to get down to the surface, because this is a planet that has Vile Brood on it, and we need that to complete the metamorphosis. So head to the planet's surface, hover above the ground, and jump or beam down from your ship. Focus the milestone Metamorphosis, and activate your analysis visor to use the target sweep to find a Vile Grub. Head over to the Vile Grub, unearth it with your terrain manipulator, pick it up, and then crush it in your inventory. This will summon the mini-boss, the Broodmother, but you don't need to do anything with that, you can just ignore it and get back to your ship. With Metamorphosis complete, focus the milestone Timestamp 4 and pulse toward that milestone. Timestamp 4 is another abandoned building, so you can do the whole scan as you approach thing again to find it, but it's also on a gas giant, so it's a bit dangerous out there. Just hover above the building, beam down, get to the entrance of the building, and just get in the building a sec to escape the storm for a second. The storm will never stop here, so there's no waiting it out. You now need to collect 7 storm crystals. They are all over the place around this building. As you enter the building through the door that it marked, if you look to your right, then use your analysis visor, there should be a storm crystal there. If you grab that and then move anti-clockwise around the building, you'll be able to pick up 1, another 1, 4 buried in a cave, and then 1 more to get your 7. This will complete Shards of the Storm. Get back to your ship and go back into space. Focus the milestone Frail Bodies. Focus the barren moon Faust Minor, again by clicking the moon in the Discovery menu. And then activate the debris rangefinder before entering pulse toward the marked moon. Do the whole thing again with the wreck when it alerts. Just get out of pulse, get out of your ship, search for the log, get it, complete Frail Bodies, and get back to your ship. Then continue pulsing toward the marked moon Faust Minor. Once at the moon, you just need to go back into the atmosphere just a little bit, get out of your seat to get that skippable new planet screen. Head up into space, just go to the Discovery menu and click the final one you haven't been to yet, which is Bibok. It's a lost blue moon. Pulse over to it, get into the atmosphere, and exit your pilot seat again. This should complete under cluster. Now, get back into space and warp to any system close by. It does not matter which system. Once you've got to this new system, enter Galactic Map again and warp back to Atterius, which is the Rendezvous 4 system you were just in. Doing this will put you right by the black hole in Atterius. This black hole is a special one that was put in for the expedition and leads directly to a system only 1,000 or so light years from you, which is Rendezvous 5. But you need to head into that black hole in a spacewalk, not in your ship. So just point towards the edge of the accretion disk of the black hole and fly towards that. When you're very close to it, get out of your pilot seat, get out of the Corvette to spacewalk, and just jetpack into the black hole. You'll now be in Rendezvous 5, which is Nasuda-Wase. If you name something different for any reason, then just focus the timestamp 5 milestone and it should show you the marker in that system. If it does not, for any reason, then you can just call the anomaly or go to the space station, go back to rendezvous 4, focus the milestone, and then warp directly to that one. You've already done the black hole now. Focus the milestone Reborn in Song, activate the final debris rangefinder in your inventory, and pulse toward the icy ruin, a Pando. Pull out of pulse when alerted and do the final wreck. You just need the log again. With Reborn in Song completed, get back to your ship and continue on towards the icy ruin planet. You've actually got quite a bit to do on this planet. It's only 3 milestones, but 2 of them take a while. The first is to gather 256 polished stones. The little ruins dotted around will drop this resource if you mine them. That will complete Forgotten Quarries. You will need this done to do the 3rd one, so once you get Forgotten Quarries, then claim the rewards from the milestone. Next you need to gather 16 Radiant Shards. These are the big pink crystals with no extra stuff on them. If you focus Radiance, you'll be able to use a target sweep to find them. Unfortunately, a lot of them will just be singular, and you need 16 of them, which is a bit brutal really. Just know that you need to have the 16 Radiant Shards done before you leave this planet. You don't need to do this in order. The last thing is to gather a full skeleton of bones. So once you've got the full skeleton, you can then build one of the skeleton displays that you rewarded from Forgotten Quarries, and finalising that completed skeleton will complete Grave Robber. Once you're done on that planet, focus the milestone timestamp 5 and pulse to that marker. On approach within the atmosphere of the planet, as usual, use your ship scan to get the little blue house icon for the abandoned building. Hover above the building and beam or jump down. This planet storms like crazy. If it's not storming now, be as quick as you can here, because we're going to need to land water, and it's really hard to find water when it's storming. So to trigger timestamp 5, just get to the door as usual. Before you go, you'll want to just scan any fauna that are around. It's really bad for fauna. You'll see 0 to 3 there out of the 9 on the planet, unfortunately. But don't stick around trying to get some if it's not storming. If it is storming, you can take your time with it. Get back into your ship and go into space and look for some water on that planet. Preferably aiming for the coast. If it is storming, get to the dark side of the planet, and you can often see the outline of the pools of water a little better there through the storm. Once you're either above water or on the coast, hover and jump or beam down. If you're above water and really low, you can actually just fish out of the back of your Corvette, which is quite fun. To fish though, you'll first need to claim the reward from Grave Robber and install the prepackaged fishing rig. You'll also want to focus the milestone jellyfish and fish with this milestone focused until you have at least one of the light blue jellyfish items. Once you have one, that's all you need, but if you want to take one back with you or something as a little souvenir, then you can fish until you have 2 of them. Once hooked is triggered and you have the lighter blue jellyfish item, jump into the water and look for crystal sulfide. You'll need to go to 3 different locations because each event has 3 and you need to collect 8 of them. While doing that, also scan the 3 underwater fauna. Once you've got all that, head back up onto land and scan any of the fauna you see. You need a total of 8 out of the 9 fauna found on this planet. This is the other heavy RNG one, because this planet often doesn't spawn 1 or 2 of them, so it can be a bit of a bitch to find them. This will complete Alien Menagerie. We have 1 milestone left, and it is called Jellyflesh, and it is a bit of a mini-boss. A good one to end the expedition on. To summon this, just stand in water and release that light blue jellyfish item. This will summon the boss. However, for ease of movement, I would recommend going onto the shore, digging a little hole of like a tiny little pond that you can sit in to release it, so that then the boss will be summoned on land. You can just run around. This boss will also do a bit of a peck attack, similar to the big grub ones. It's like a static lunge almost. It does move, but it's very slow. It will also do a spit attack where it shoots up and it will land on you. The most dangerous thing you need to worry about with this mini-boss are the Lovecraftian cursed jellyfish that it summons. It summons quite a few of them, and I would recommend just ignoring them and shooting the boss. Just focus fire on the boss. So you'll want to strafe and then occasionally every few seconds move forward or backwards a little bit, and that will be enough for the seppuku jellyfish to just fly by and not hit you, because their main attack is a sort of self-sacrifice attack, dive bomb. With the big jellyfish boss down, you completed Jellyflash and with it the entire expedition. Congrats. Remember, you only have 1 week left, more guides coming. Thanks all, peace.